Series 2017 from the beautiful city of Mostar in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Now, if you want to talk about a town steeped in diving history, this is it. There's a long-standing tradition of leaping from the famous Stari Most bridge, which dates back over 400 years. Now, this location provides a unique set of challenges for the athletes as they're diving into a very cold and fast-flowing river. Now, some news on the women's front. The Women's World Series leader, Rhiannon Ifland, will not be competing at this competition due to an injury she suffered in training. We are wishing her all the best for a speedy recovery to make it in time for the competition next month. In her absence, we look towards Adriana Jimenez and Helena Merton to build upon their recent strong performances. As for the men, this has been one of the most unpredictable seasons yet. We've seen 4 different winners, 3 different overall series leaders. As we saw in that previous competition in Texas, it was one of the toughest and closest competitions we've ever seen. So right now, there are 5 men who are all in contention to win the overall series title. Victory here is crucial. Okay, the divers. Now, they already have 3 dives under their belt. Later, we'll catch up with the men for their 4th and final round dive, cutting down to the top 8 best divers. But first up, it's the women diving from a 21-meter perch. And before we commence the competition, let's take a look at the action from the previous rounds.
Here we have Helena Merton from Australia with her round 1 dive. Very, very well executed. That's the required dive round. It's all about showing off grace and elegance, and very graceful it was. Reverse somersaults in the 3 position, keeping the body in line for a clean entry. View of the beautiful Stari Most bridge. Next up is Cecily Carlton from America. Round 2, triple half. Look at this. What a fantastic job. Slicing through the water. Had a slow start to the season, but now is improving, especially with that round 2 dive. Currently sitting in the lead. Adriana Jimenez from Mexico with her round 2 dive. Back triple somersault in the pike position. Smooth, stylish, looking very relieved and happy with that particular dive. Great aerial awareness, good form in the air, stretching the dive out the end to slow it down. Was sitting in the number 1 position after 2 rounds. Now sitting in 2nd. Very cold, very chilly water in the NIKITA River. Rhiannon Ifland, the leader of the World Series so far, had to withdraw injured. So a knee injury when she hit the water. The landing looked good, it was straight up and down, but sometimes the impact is incredibly strong. So 71 kilometers per hour, but we're hoping to see her make a strong recovery for the grand finale in Lago Ranco, Chile. So the facts here, 21 meters high, 70 feet high. We only have 6 divers. Normally we start with 8 divers. So Eli Smart and Rhiannon Ifland pulling out injured. 200 points for a win here. So if Adriana Jimenez from Mexico can take a win here, she will have the series lead. Okay, here's how we line up. Remember, the divers with the highest scores will go toward the end of the round. So Adriana Jimenez, Cecily Carlton performing very well so far in hot pursuit to try and take a win here at this particular competition. But it's also about the fight for the King Kai Kili Trophy. The trophy awarded to the overall series winner. Fantastic crowd we have here today. 17,000 spectators lining the riverbank of the NIKITA River, diving from the famous Stari Most. There's a tradition, a history of diving from the bridge dating back over 400 years. So the locals dearly love their bridge and they love Mostar. On the platform, Yana Nestriava from Belarus. She will perform a front 3 somersaults with 1.5 twists in the pike position. Hobbies, she's a drummer, but most importantly, a fine athlete and a great cliff diver. There's the water spray, helping the athletes see the surface of the water. So this is the 4th and final round. We're watching at the 5th stop of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. There's the bell signifying the start of the dive. Jana Nestriava spinning and somersaulting her way down from 21 meters. A very daunting challenge. The wild card facing her fears. Let's take a look at the dive. So using her arms to throw forwards, a twist at the beginning. The pike is a little bit too open, like to see it drawn in a little closer. But the judges are looking for 3 things. The takeoff, it should be powerful and strong. Yes, it is. Pike position should be a little tighter, so some deductions. And it needs to be up and down, straight as an arrow through the water, completely vertical. So a little unfortunate for Jana. 68.25 points for the Belarusian. 5 more divers to come. So we only have 6 divers starting. Ely Smart pulling out injured, as well as Rhiannon Ifland. We are wishing them all the best for the recovery. 17,000 spectators watching the 4th and final round. Greg Louganis, our sports director, diving legend, Olympic gold medalist, supporting the athletes with safety and the rules and regulations of the sport. So on the platform next up, we have Ginger Huber, 42 years of age. Had 8 podiums in her career, but yet to win a competition. Dedicated her life to diving. There's the bell. We're ready to dive. Ginger Huber putting on a consistent display of diving. Now this is all about degree of difficulty. The more somersaults and twists you perform, the higher the tariff. Scores from the judges: 3 7s, 1 7.5, 2 6, 1 6.5 from Dimitri Salton. The highest and lowest score are deducted. 3 remaining scores are added together, multiplied by the degree of difficulty to have the final score. Spinning in towards a platform with 3 somersaults in the tuck position. So a few deductions for the position in the air. It's best to see a nice tight tuck position, a good ball shape, pointed toes. 79.80 for Ginger Huber, now in first position. Very cold water, 14 degrees. Very refreshing after your dive. Okay, Ginger Huber in the lead. Coming up, Helena Merton took 3rd position at the last competition in Texas. Adriana Jimenez hoping to take a win here so she can take the overall series lead. So this is the 5th stop of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. 1 more stop to come. That will take place next month in Chile, Lago Ranco, diving from a beautiful waterfall. But speaking of beautiful locations, the Stari Most, what a picturesque backdrop for the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. "22 years of age, former acrobat and a surfer from Gold Coast. Very high degree of difficulty. Back arm stand. 2.5 somersaults, 2 twists. Can you believe the nerves of steel that Helena Merton has? Rhiannon Ifland Good sportswomanship supporting her fellow Australian athlete. High degree of difficulty. And looks like it was well executed. She is very, very happy indeed. The scores 2 8s, 2 8.5s, and 9. Very well balanced in the handstand, kicking off. There's the twist, and there's the briny. And getting the dive up and down, just a few little splashes coming off. So I would expect very few deductions from the judges. Job well done. Job well done, Helena Merton. Finally, she says, 105 points for Helena Merton. Fantastic. Now she's in first position. 3 more divers to come. Vital scores needed here. Anna Bader next. Adriana Jimenez, Cecily Carlton, Helena Merton with a solid lead right now. 314.30. Once again, watching the 4th and final round of the women at the 5th stop of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series, diving from a 21-meter platform. All is at stake here in Mostar and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And about a back arm stand, 1.5 somersaults, relatively low degree of difficulty, looking for high scores.
Let's go, Fatih. Yes.
Anna Bader, one of the most elegant divers out there. Looking great, but the crowd, the spectators here, 17,000 of them are in awe and appreciation of these remarkable athletes, these remarkable women diving from a 21-meter platform, 71 kilometers per hour upon impact. They are brave. 4 7s, 1 7.5 from the judges. Look at the elegant line. Look at the shape of the legs. The toes are completely curled over. Great line in the air. The only mistake was coming into that slightly bent position in the water. So everything must be 100% in line to draw down the splash. Once again, the judges are looking for the takeoff, the flight, and the entry. 3 parts equally and fairly. They don't judge the degree of difficulty. 69.30 for Anna Bader from Germany. 2nd position right now. Okay, coming up, Adriana Jimenez from Mexico, Cecily Carlton. Helena Merton still with a strong lead. She will be on the podium. There is no doubt about that. Adriana Jimenez on the platform. Narrowly missed the Olympics in 2004. Visualizing the dive. Visualizing the dive is oh so important. You must picture the dive perfectly in your mind before you execute it. A win here will give her the series lead to put some pressure on this woman right here, Rianne Nifland. We are wishing her a quick recovery to be in the fight for the finals. Adriana Jimenez, reverse triple somersault in the tuck position. Okay, miscalculation at the end of the dive for Adriana Jimenez. That is a slip up, but she's philosophical about it. She is philosophical. It's easier said than done. Sitting here in the commentary box looking at some mistakes, it's a very difficult sport to handle mentally and physically. 3 or 4 5s from the judges, 1 6. Looking at the takeoff. Reaching up, nice jump, great tuck position in the air, kicking out there. And just, perhaps she needed to stay straight in the position, so if you keep your body nice and long, you can put the air brakes on to control the dive, but perhaps you just had a little bit too much power on takeoff, so it is very important to have the right amount of speed on takeoff, so a little unfortunate, but that's the way things go, up and down in your sportive career. But nonetheless, she's safe and sound after the dive. 58.50 for Adriana Jimenez. Third position right now. Still valuable points to be in the fight for the King Kaikili Trophy, the trophy awarded to the overall series winner with a total number of accumulated points. Last diver on the platform, Cecily Carlton from the United States of America. She has won a competition in the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series previously, back in 2015. A performer on the cruise ships. Harmony of the Seas. Comes from a gymnastic background. Husband is also an accomplished high diver and cliff diver. Whoa, Cecily Carlton. Did you hear that noise when she hit the water? Jonathan Paredes clapping his hands and saying, yes, Cecily, you did good. Fantastic. Didn't waste any time on the platform. Okay, 3 8.5s from the judges, 1 8, 1 7.5. Once again, the highest and lowest score are discarded. Remaining 3s are added together. Watch the interruption here. Interrupted, then back into the tuck position, and then down into the NIKITA River for a fine rip entry. Hardly any splash whatsoever. Didn't have the greatest start to the season, but she's making up for lost ground here today. Cecily Carlton, be proud of yourself. Huge smiles from her. 95 points for her back triple somersault in the tuck position. There we have it. Cecily Carlton is the winner here in Mostar and Bosnia-Herzegovina. What a comeback, taking her second ever win in a Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series competition. Big hug from Andy Jones, her fellow American. Cecily Carlton, the winner. Helena Merton from Australia, taking another podium finish. She placed third at the last competition in Texas. Adriana Jimenez in fourth position right there. Anna Bader with another third place with relatively low degree of difficulty, but superb execution. Another third position. Job well done for Anna Bader. What a competition, what a season. And we thank Mostar for being the host for such a fantastic competition. This is the winning dive for Cecily Carlton, the back triple somersault. One somersault coming out here for the interruption, back into the tuck position. And look at this, hey presto, a disappearing act into the river. Look how little time she takes on the platform. It's incredible. Doesn't want to think about anything too much, get set and go. And that strategy worked for that dive. Okay, the series standings. Rhiannon Ifland still holding on to the lead. Adriana Jimenez sitting in second position right now, 630 points, but still in fighting distance. This will be a great finale in Lago Ranco, Chile next month. Helena Merton only 20 points behind Adriana Jimenez. Ginger Huber staying consistent, 520 points. But I have to say, I am very, very impressed with the diving from the women today and during this season. Every single competition seems to be increasing in terms of the level of execution and the degree of difficulty. Soon we will see the fourth and final round for the men. Cutting down to the top 8 divers. So they started with 14 divers through those 3 rounds. And then they cut down to the top out. So here's the men to watch. Steve Lebeau with his round 1 dive, showing off his twisting ability. He's a diver that has great repertoire, huge variety of dives. Massive jump from the platform. There he is honing in on the water, 85 kilometers per hour. Superb. Hardly any splash whatsoever. Then we have Jonathan Paredes with his round 2 dive. Pow. That is what he is known for. Elegant, stylish, the rip master. I would say 8 times out of 10, he managed to find a rip entry just like that. And then we have Chris Kalanis from Poland, diving incredibly well, scoring 9s from the judges on this particular dive, round 2. And he's also a fine synchronized swimmer. Beautiful pike position in the air. Very strong field of men. And Steve Lebeau with his round 3 dive. One of the most difficult maneuvers. Front 5 somersaults. Look at this. Superb, outstanding display of cliff diving. One of the first men in the world to perform that particular maneuver. Just makes you dizzy even watching it. Beautiful position in the air. See how the chest was totally folded against the legs, just like a pocket knife folding in on itself. So full marks from the judges. Very impressive considering he was in Miami, had to endure the hurricane and arrived late here in Mostar, but diving very well. 27 meters high is the platform, 90 feet. Remember, we have cut down from 14 divers from the previous 3 rounds. Now we are watching the top 8 men. NIKITA FEDOTOV, the wild card, has made it into the top 8, so it's great to see a new face. Also, he's been performing some very difficult maneuvers. Steve Lebeau on top of the leaderboard, Gary Hunt in the running as well. So we're about to see some very high degree of difficulty in this 4th and final round at the 5th stop of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. We're here in Mostar in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Some title contenders missing. Blake Aldridge, the leader in the World Series currently, so he will slip back after this competition. So he did not make the top 8, nor did Andy Jones or Orlando Duque. This is the Stari Most bridge. So the locals dive from this bridge as a form of income. So they're keeping up with the tradition of over 400 years of leaping from the Stari Most. Stari means old, Most means the bridge. Built back in the 16th century. Big crowd, 17,000 spectators. The bridge was destroyed during times of war and reopened in 2004. Orlando Duque was there to dive from the bridge to celebrate the reopening. But it's all about this man right now, NIKITA FEDOTOV, the wild card, a performer in a show in Shenzhen in China. We just watched a dive he performed in round 3, a dive never been seen before. But here we are, NIKITA FEDOTOV with a front 3 somersaults with 2.5 twists in the pike position. It's all about degree of difficulty now. The 4th and final round for the men. There's the bell signifying the start of the dive. Blake Aldridge there, out of the top 8. NIKITA FEDOTOV, what a dive to set the pace. The fellow divers like it, the spectators like it, and NIKITA FEDOTOV, you should like that dive. What an impressive performance from the wild card. 3 9s, 2 9.5s. Can you believe it? Look at this. 2 twists at the beginning, into the pike. Great form in the air. He did not split his legs, kept everything in line. And there we have it. Hey, presto. We have a rip entry. A rip entry means that sound when they hit the water. It sounds like you're tearing cloth. Drawing down, no splash. Bravo, Nikita FEDOTOV. Great to see new faces in the sport, in the up-and-coming ranks. 118.25 points for Nikita FEDOTOV. First diver to kick off the round, so of course he's in first position right now. 7 more divers to come. Sergio Guzman from Mexico, the salsa dancer. The man prefers spinning and rotating dives. The crowd witnessing the very best cliff diving athletes in the world for the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. There we go, Sergio Guzman, ramp up the crowd. They are enjoying it. He's got some Mexican fans down there supporting him. Recently had a baby girl last year. So reverse somersault. He'll stand on the platform facing forwards, jump up and spin back towards the platform, but moving forwards. Very, very hard maneuver to pull off. There's the safety scuba divers awaiting the athletes. Unfortunately, hard landing for Sergio Guzman, but we have an expert team of safety divers on hand just to make sure everyone's okay. So occasionally accidents do happen from time to time, like all sports. But the scuba divers and the medical team are always on standby, ready to support the athletes in case of emergency. Round of applause from the crowd. I'm sure Sergio Guzman will make fine recovery, so the medical experts will check upon him, and we will give you an update a little later on how his health progresses. But once again, reiterating, we have a team of experts at hand on site. So this is the 5th stop of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. Many of the athletes come from a diving background. Some of them from a trampolining background. Show of appreciation from the spectators. Great to see that. So the level of skill required in the sport is extremely high. All of the athletes have had around 12 years of diving experience behind them before they even attempt the sport of cliff diving. Spectators lining the bank of the NIKITA River, Mostar, one of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites. A bridge built back in the 16th century. There's Jonathan Paredes on the bridge awaiting his next dive, trying to stay focused and ready. You have to keep yourself in the moment, thinking about the things you need to do. Block out any other external factors. Once again, reiterating what the judges look for. They're looking for the takeoff, the flight, and the entry, so they don't judge the degree of difficulty. So the more somersaults and twists you perform, the higher the degree of difficulty. So ladies and gents, we'll have around about 3 minutes or so until we commence with the next diver. All the divers care about each other very, very much. There's a great sense of sportsmanship, sportswomanship, so it's like a big family. Young Aiden Hislop, one of the up-and-coming cliff divers. So Sergio Guzman stabilised, put into the boat. We do appreciate the goodwill and the gestures of the crowd. So a few facts about the sport. So different positions in the air will make the dive more difficult or less difficult. You'll see dives with pike positions with the legs folding against the body, making it more difficult to rotate than a dive with a tuck position, holding on into a ball shape, allowing you to spin faster. You can see Alessandro De Rose visualizing his dive. So you've got to picture the dive in your mind over and over. See it perfectly in your mind to help with the execution of the dive. Aerial awareness is key. You must feel your way in the air, counting the somersaults, feeling the twists and somersaults. So this sport is as much mental as it is physical. So there's a lot of sports psychology involved. A lot of physical preparation. David Couturi there, you can see his shoulder strapped up from surgery last year. So he had a long pre-season of recovery to get ready for the 2017 World Series. He's done a great job, made the podium twice so far. Jonathan Paredes there had a slow start, but picked up a second place finish in Texas. So we're still in the fight for the overall series title. There are 5 potential men who could take or clinch the overall series title. So every point counts at this competition to transfer over for the 4th and final round. See Jonathan Paredes getting in the zone, getting focused. Very important to try and keep the heart rate nice and low. Right now, staying cool, staying calm and collected. NIKITA FEDOTOV still in the lead, coming up. Alessandro De Rose from Italy took a win in front of his home crowd in Italy. Jonathan Paredes coming as well. Gary Hunt, the 6 times Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series leader. Forward 3 somersaults with 2.5 twists in the pike position. Alessandro De Rose doing a fine job. Doing a fine job. It's not easy after that pause, after that break, to regain composure and stand on that platform. Too easy for us to sit here in the commentary booth. But when it's you standing on a 27-meter platform, mixed results there, 6.5, 8, 7.5. So perhaps some of the judges saw something different than the others. I like the takeoff. Look at it, very powerful, very strong. I have to say his twisting has been absolutely superb throughout the season and just slightly rolled through in the water. So once again, you have to judge everything fairly from the top and the middle. It should look aesthetically pleasing. So I like everything. Just the last part of the dive was the only thing that you could possibly pick on. Fito Gutierrez there, the coach of young Aiden Hislop, who we saw earlier, 98.90. Alessandro De Rose in second position right now. Jonathan Paredes will be the next diver. The style master, the rip master from Mexico. This is the fourth and final round for the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. Stop number 5. 27 meters high, 90 feet up. Nikita Fedotov holding on strong. Alessandro De Rosa in second position. See Chris Kalanis making his way up. Once again, 17,000 spectators lining the riverbank in the historic city of Mostar. Jonathan Paredes placed second overall in the series ranking last year. Watch this, ladies and gents, a running takeoff, a front 4 somersaults with 1.5 twists in the pike position. So he'll start back from the platform, he'll run towards the end. Needs a lot of rotation, a lot of power. Must score 8s from the judges to take the lead. 8s. Oh. From start to finish, that dive was busy, busy, busy. Very scary indeed when you have to run towards the end of the platform. Can't really see the water below you until you get to the very end. Okay, 6.5, 3 6.5s, 1 7.5, 1 7 from the judges. So from the side angle, that's where the judges look from. Okay, here we go, pike, twist the middle. Can't see deductions, back into the pike again. That's called the Barani, the trampoline maneuver. Yes, very, very short of vertical. You can see him hunched over at the end. It's very important to elongate the body to try and get maximum points from the judges. So we're looking for clean entry, the least amount of splash as possible, and straight up and down. Straight as an arrow through the water is what we're looking for. Very difficult maneuver. It's a brand new dive that he learnt this year. So as the sport progressed, the degree of difficulty progressed. Jonathan Paredes is keeping up. Slightly low scores, 94 points, third position right now. But reiterating, this sport is mentally very challenging. And the impact, 3 to 5 Gs upon the impact of the water. FEDOTOV holding strong once again. .85 kilometers per hour. Greg Louganis, our sports director, Olympic champion and all-time diving legend, taking care of our beloved athletes. Chris Kalanis has been so consistent. There's Anna Bader, Chris Kalanis' partner, with their baby girl Roxy. Hey, Daddy. What do you think about Daddy? Daddy's pretty talented, I have to say. Solid scores, 3 8.5s, an 8 and a 7.5 from the judges. What I really like about Chris Kalanis is his energy, good energy on takeoff. This is exquisite. Look at that, like a pocket knife, completely folded against itself. Beautiful pike position. Ever so slightly over-rotate on the bottom, but being very, very picky. You can see that water spray there helping the divers see the surface of the water. Doesn't help break the surface tension. 102.50 points for Chris Kalanis, now in second position. There's Anna Bada, who we saw in the previous round, who placed third. Baby girl Roxy, and he gave birth to her last year. Coming up, a very important man, Mr. Gary Hunt, the 6 times Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series champion, sitting second position overall in the series so far, so he's got to perform very, very well here with this dive. Studied forensic science, quite the juggler as well. Been learning to play piano, resides in France, speaks French, all-round multi-talented guy. And this dive, the back 3 somersaults with 4 twists. He was the inventor of this very dive, the first person ever to execute it. You will see action from start to finish. Must score more than 6.5 to take the lead. Superb. Superb. Round of applause, Gary Hunt. It is so impressive that he finds a way to fit in so many somersaults and twists. He is an acrobatic genius. Fantastic aerial awareness. Okay, 2 7.5s, 2 8s. There's Great Britain. There's Team GB. Go, Gary Hunt. Okay, looking at the dive. Watch the arms, how they swing up to generate rotation. 3.5 twists, stops the twist in the middle of the dive, enters the pike. There's very, very little time to react. Calm and composed. Look at that. Needs rotation, needs aerial awareness, and needs to judge the entry. You could see that he didn't quite lift the chest up at the end of the dive. Maybe he didn't really have enough rotation from the beginning, but still very, very, very few mistakes for Gary Hunt. With big degree of difficulty, he should fare well. So once again, the judges mark the dive based upon aesthetics, not the degree of difficulty. That is, the scores are added together and multiplied by the degree of difficulty. So ladies and gents, once again, 4th and final round for the men. We have a fight on our hands between 5 men for the King Kai Kili Trophy, the winner of the overall series title. Mikhail Navratil from the Czech Republic won at this very location last year. He won 2 competitions in the 2016 season. Always energetic, always happy to be in front of the crowd. Okay, Mikhail Navratil, front 3 somersaults with 2.5 twists in the pike position. If Mikhail wants to take the lead, he must score straight 9s or more than 9s. Okay, Mikhail Navratil, perhaps not exactly what he needs right now. You can see Gary Hunt having a sigh of relief, sitting in the lead currently. And can you believe it, the wild card, Nikita FEDOTOV, in second position right now, his first ever competition. This is shaping up to be an incredible competition. Mikhail Navratil. Okay, there's that pike position, entering the twist. Just looking like he was a little disorientated or wobbly in the air and landing casted, landing sideways through the water. So I'm just trying to evaluate exactly why or what went wrong. For me, it just looked slow. Didn't look like in the middle of the dive he had enough rotation to keep the twist moving. So rotation is also important for the twist. So low scores for Mikhail Navratil, 70.95, sixth position. He will not make the podium. Okay, we have a very, very exciting competition. One more man standing on the platform, Steve Lebeau. If he wins here, it will be 5 winners out of 5 competitions, and that has never, ever been seen before in the history of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. Steve Lebeau has a real chance right here. If I'm looking at my stats correctly, he needs to score 7.5s from the judges. He has one of the hardest dives to perform at hand here. Inward 5 somersaults in the tuck position with a half twist. The last man on the platform, a very, very nervous wait for that man right there, Gary Hunt, who is in the lead right now. Badly needs a win, but look at that degree of difficulty, 5.4. Steve Lebeau will stand on the platform backwards and rotate in towards the platform with 5 rotations. Can you count the somersaults? Spinning at breakneck speed, and he's polished the entry. David Kulturi, his fellow countryman. Oh, there we go, a little clap with the feet. This has been a fantastic competition. Gary Hunt must be incredibly nervous right now. Steve Lebeau, he has performed this dive very few times, so the anxiety and the fear levels are incredibly high. Watch how the arms will throw forwards like a soccer ball to generate rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 coming around for the Brani. Look, I see some deductions. From the side angle, that's where the judges look from. You can see the legs bending at the end of the dive. Now I am very, very curious to see what the judges will do with this particular dive. See there? His knees bent. That's called a break of position. There will be some deductions. Okay, you got the dive down clean, there's no splash, but this is left hanging in the balance as to who will win this competition. 108 points for Steve Lebeau. Second position, Gary Hunt has won the competition. He's taken his second win this season. His first time winning a competition off the bridge. There we have it. We salute you, the 6 times Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series champion. Gary Hunt just looks absolutely relieved. I do believe that's Gary Hunt's mother right there. Oh, Mum, be proud. Fantastic job. And he's taken the overall lead in World Series points right now. Gary Hunt is a very humble man indeed. Gary Hunt, I believe that is the highest score we've also seen this season, 400.90. Steve Lebeau in second, but guess what? The wild card, Nikita FEDOTOV, his first ever appearance, and here he is, sitting on the podium. What a fantastic effort. Really, he should be very proud. Some of the men who did not make the 4th and final round, Orlando Duque slipping down there, Andy Jones, unfortunately, with a failed dive. Blake Aldridge slipping back too. He was in the lead of the series before this particular competition. Gary Hunt reflecting upon the competition. A very, very humble man, a true gentleman. The winning dive from Gary Hunt, the triple quad, we call it. 3.5 twists here. Entering the pike position. In total, 3 somersaults with 4 twists. What an athlete. His aerial awareness is absolutely supreme. He seems to understand Every single moment in the air, he makes everything look smooth, everything look easy. But what a season we've seen. 4 different winners, 3 different World Series leaders. Here are the series standings so far. Gary Hunt, 660 points. Jonathan Paredes moving up the ranks from 3rd into 2nd position right now. Blake Aldridge in 3rd. Okay, David Kulturi holding strong. So despite Andy Jones not having a great competition here, he's still in 5th position due to David Kulturi missing the 4th and final round here. NIKITA FEDOTOV, 12th position. 130 points for his 3rd place victory. I salute NIKITA FEDOTOV. Very well managed to handle the nerves, the pressure in front of all these spectators. 17,000 spectators in total. And I'm sure they have enjoyed the greatest cliff divers in the planet. Ladies and gents, that concludes today's competition, and the next stop will take us to Lago Ranco, Chile, a lush green landscape with a picturesque waterfall. It's the last stop of the season, and the results there will decide the winners of the King Kaikili Trophy for both the men and for the women. You can see all the finals action on the 21st of October on Red Bull TV and on Facebook Live. It's been another incredible competition here in historic Mostar for the 5th stop of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series 2017 once again. Congratulations to our winners, Gary Hunt and Cecily Carlton. So on behalf of the team, thanks for watching and see you again in Lago Ranco, Chile.